Okay, so what we're going to do here is perform a little bit of a statistical analysis of our data using some of the very simple tools that will make this come about. Our focus initially is going to be where we're looking at the different categories of product that we sell, and then the detailed breakdown of the actual products within those categories in a number of different statistical calculations to look a little bit deeper and see a little bit more about that data. So we're going to start out by going into the Insert tab here, clicking on the Pivot Table, hitting OK, and there we go. We're going to go ahead and find the category field. We'll bring that in to the rows area. And then we'll find the product name, and we'll bring that underneath the category. So there we go on that one. And I think maybe we're going to go with the full product. I've got another field, let's just pull this one out, called full product. And the big difference there is it has the SKU number as well of the product in there too. So you'll see that if I went back over here, you'd see over in the product area where we've got the SKU number and we've got the product name. And what I did was I used the concatenate function to combine the two so that we would get something like that. So that's all that is. And then we'll go ahead and find the revenue, which will be the total sale, and we'll put that into the values area. There we go. Okay, so now we've got the revenue column. Now the next thing I want to do next to it is put in the highest sale amount that happened in each of these areas. So the biggest sale, what we're talking about over here, is this number here, all right? Finding the highest one in each of the groups, all right? And then next to it, we'll put the lowest one. Now to do that, we have to drag the total sale field in again into the values area to summarize. We'll get the same thing there, but now what we'll do is we'll double click the field heading here. And in this case, what we want to do is we want to put the max function in place. So by doing that and hitting OK, that will then give us the largest number or sale. Now we'll bring in the total sale again underneath the last one there. And on this one, we're going to be doing the min, or the smallest. There we go on that. Now another calculation we can put in there would be the average. Before I do that though, I'm going to detach the panel here. Just kind of pull that off so that I can see a few more items in the list here. Makes it a little bit easier to work with there. So we're going to bring in the total sale again. There it goes. Double click it, and we'll change that to average. Now another field I like to have is the profit that we made from each of these. We don't have that field in place yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and create a calculated field like we've done on previous videos here. So we'll just go over here to Analyze. We'll go over to our fields and items here. Calculated field. We'll call this one PR. And it's going to involve taking the total sale, just double click that, minus the total cost. And then we'll go ahead and hit OK. That'll put the sum of PR in there. We'll fix all these in a little bit with the formatting and all. Now the next thing I'd like to see is how many transactions involved each of these. In other words, out of all of our transactions, I think we've got about 75,000 transactions over here. How many do we have? I can't remember. Let's see here. About 10,000 transactions. So out of the 10,000 transactions, how many of them were for each of these different products? So what we do there, pretty easy. We bring in the the total sale again, just like that. But then we'll go ahead and double click the heading and tell it that we'd like to just do a count. So instead of it adding up, numbers and all that, it's just going to add up how many rows or how many records are for each of these. So if I go ahead and hit OK on that, then you'll see that number go in. Now the last thing I want to see is how many of each of these products did we sell. In other words, for all the transactions for Ipu Coffee, taking a look at this, I'll show you the field here. So for every transaction, we actually have the quantity that they purchased of each of the products. So we've got that right there for quantity. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the quantity field. And we'll do that by just going over to our field listing here. There's our quantity field. And we'll drag that underneath the last one there. And there we go. I'm going to reattach this now. All right, so now what we have in there are the quantities that that were purchased for each of those products. All right, doesn't really make a lot of sense with the subtotal at the top here. Let's pull that over a little bit here. So when you're looking at beverages and you see that number there, that's kind of erroneous because it's really adding up all these numbers here. So I guess as far as beverage items, we could probably say that we sold that many of them and that many in condiments and so forth. But the big number, or the realistic number, is the one for each of the products there. Okay, so now we can go back and relabel and format our numbers here. So we'll just go ahead and double click the first one here. And at the top here for the name, what we're going to do is we're just going to call it revenue. And then as far as the number format, we'll click onto that. We want number, 1,000 separator, 0 decimal places. Hit OK on that one. We'll double click the next one. Now this is going to be the, we'll just call it maybe high. Yeah, that might be good. So high, and then we'll go back to a number format. And we'll do number, commas, and then 0. Okay. And on this one here, we'll double click it. We'll make that one low. And we'll go down to the number format. The number, commas, 0 decimal places. There we go. And on this next one, we'll make this one maybe, we'll call it AVG sale, so average sale, and of course the number format, and there we go on that one. That's looking good. This next one here is going to be the profit, so we'll double click that, call that one profit, and the number format as usual. Now that's already formatted, so we're good on that one. All right, and then for the next one, this is going to be maybe the number of transactions. So maybe like a pound symbol, trans, and then we'll do a number format, number, commas, no decimals. There we go. And the next one, or the last one here, is going to be the number sold. So we could put maybe something like a pound sold. And then we'll go ahead with the formatting as usual. And there we go. All right, so that's it. We can probably add a little bit of style formatting to this for the table. So we'll go back over here to design. And we can go into here, find a coloring scheme that we would like. Maybe do some banded rows. I don't know about the columns. And maybe even the banded columns as well. Oh, that looks good. All right, so that's great. Now, when you look at this, oh, one more thing too. Let's also put some blank rows in here, kind of break up the monotony a little bit there. Okay, now, when you're looking at the numbers here, This is representing many years, about maybe 5 years worth of data. I'd like to get this to where we can show maybe each year, okay? But I don't want to include the year in the data. I just want to be able to filter it down to a specific year. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our filter over here to make that happen. So we'll go here. Let me pull this down a little bit here. All right, so we're going to bring in the order date into the filters area here. Now when I do that, you'll see the filter appear up at the top here. Now if I hit the drop down arrow, I'm going to get every individual date in there. I really need to have this kind of grouped by year, so I can just pick, you know, whatever year, 2022, 2023, or whatever. So the trick to get this thing to group properly will be to take that order date field. We're just going to put it into our rows area temporarily. Now when we do that, it ends up, let me kind of pull this up a little bit here. It ends up giving us the order date field in there, and then you'll see it all kind of broken down. Looks like almost like by week. All right. Now what we're going to do here is we'll click on any one of those dates. We'll go back into Analyze. We'll go to our Group field, and you'll see that the only thing we have in there is by month. Okay, so I guess that's what it's broken down by. So what I really want to see is just by year. So I'm just going to click on to years, get rid of the months, hit OK, and then I get the years. All right. Now what I'll do is I'll take that order date field, which is now representing years, and drag this back up into the filters area, and there we go. So now on the order date here, click on that little drop down arrow, there's all the years, and I can go and pick, you know, let's say 2025, hit OK, there it is. So that's the data for 2025. Now I can also go in there and click onto the order date label there and just type in, maybe call it sales year. All right, and there we go. So that makes it look nice. The other thing that you might want to do is maybe add some other fields as well for the filtering. So maybe what we can do is we can maybe go ahead and add the zones. Let me just pull that down a little bit, and we'll find zone. We're going to put that underneath the year. Maybe even go as far as bringing in the country and pull that down as well. So now we got all three. So now we can actually focus on a specific year and then go ahead into the zone area and say, okay, I want to go and focus on, let's say, Asia. Hit OK. So now there's all the Asian sales. Or what I can do is I can get rid of the Asia, just go back and reset that back to everything, and go to a specific country, such as like maybe Argentina, click onto that, and now that would be all the Argentinian sales and all the statistics about that. So pretty cool little setup there. Now I can go back in there and reset the filter for the country and put that back to all, hit OK, and now I'm seeing all of 2025. Pretty nice. All right, so now maybe I'd like to see another breakdown of my sales, and let's kind of focus on the product and the rep. All right, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll take the category out of there. We'll find the rep, and we'll go with maybe the rep ID number as well. And we'll, actually, that's not what I want to do. I want to do this next one here. So the full rep. So the full rep will give me both of these. That was combined using the concatenate function as well. So we'll drag that underneath the full product, and there we go. So we've got each of our different products, right? And then we've got the sales rep, and this is all for 2025. So I can go back up there and I can say, well, how about 2023? Hit OK. There's 2023 sales and sales statistics. So that's good on that one. Now another pairing of fields that we can do is we'll pull these guys off here, and we can bring in now maybe the vendor and the product. So we'll go find our vendor. So we'll do the vendor. I don't know if we got the full vendor. No, we'll bring in the vendor name there. So we got vendor, and then we'll find the full product. There that is, and put that underneath there. So now we can see each of our vendors. We can actually see each of the products that that they sell to us, and then we can actually see how much we sold of each of those. So I think that's pretty enlightening there. Great conversations starter, I guess, for a particular meeting. Now another angle could be that we could knock off the vendor here, and we can bring in, let's say, maybe the country. All right, so we can look at something kind of regional here. Now, the only problem with this one is that we've got country being used in our filtering area, which is fine. All we really have to do there is we can just take country and pull that off and just kind of drag it down. And if we put it underneath the full product, we'll get something like that. Or if we take the full product and put it underneath the country, then we've got something like that. So it really depends on how you want to convey that information. But either one is good. It shows here that Argentina, all right, now the number sold, that's not going to make much sense there. But as far as Argentina and them buying, chocolate and veggie spread and all that, all of these numbers would be good, because we could see how much chocolate, how much veggie spread, and so forth that we had sold to those each of those countries. Now I'll put my country back up there again. Take the full product off, and now this time we're going to take. Actually, I do want to bring the product back in again, so we'll bring the product back in there again. And now I want to bring in the zone, all right, or the territory here. So I'll take the zone. Now the zone is part of the filter areas here, so we'll just take the zone and drag that down here underneath the product name. You'll see it be removed up from there, and now it's down there, and now we can actually see that breakdown. So that's kind of interesting too. See, all this information, somebody in the organization is going to look at this and say, this means something to me, and this is going to allow me to decide what action I need to take in order to maybe to improve the numbers or something, right? If they feel that these are not good enough, at least you get an idea of what they're doing, and maybe take action as far as maybe improving, the whole situation. Now I'll take the zone, I'll put the zone back up into my filter area here. Take off the, I'll leave the product name in there. And what I want to do now is bring in the years. Okay, so we'll take the sales year now that we have here, drag that down into the product name underneath it, and there we go on that one. And then we can actually see the statistics on each of those products, year over year, and so forth. So just another way of looking at the data. I want to be able to break the numbers down by quarter as well. So I got the years. I want to have quarters as well. Now, the problem is we don't have quarters in our list here. All right. This pretty much looks like that. All right. And if you remember earlier when we were getting the order date to be grouped by year, we had just chosen year as the breakdown. Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to modify that and add to it the quarters. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on any one of the dates that we already have here, years or whatever, go to the group field, all right, and tell it that we want to see quarters as well. So we just click on the quarters, hit OK, and now there's your quarters. Now I'll say that this is a pretty, pretty expansive summary here of data, but if this is something that would be important for you to see, then why not? Why not have it like that? And that would be great if you're, trying to do comparison. Now what you could also do is, to kind of reduce the size of this, is you can actually take both of these fields, all right, which are in essence, what you see here now, the years is representing the year, and the sales year is representing the quarter information there. We can actually put both of these back up into the filter area and look at it that way. So we can go back and bring years to there, let's say, and bring up the sales year for that. So now we could go as far as saying, okay, let's look at just 2022, all right? And we want to see quarter one. And that's what you'd see there. So that would be an alternative, I guess, to that view. Okay, so now one last thing I want to do here is add a slicer filter that shows the categories and be able to pick multiple categories of product to display here without having to have the category field, you know, built in within the pivot. Now, I'm not going to make it a filter. I'm not going to use the filter because the filter is not going to allow me to display multiple items. In other words, if I wanted to see 2 or more categories, I mean, I could pick them from the filter, but the problem would be that it would show multiple items and it wouldn't really be saying what we're looking at here. So having the more of a visual filter, which is what the slicer does for us, would be a lot better. So I'm just going to go back up into the Analyze tab here, click on to Insert Slicer, find the category field, click onto that, hit OK. There it is. Maybe resize it a little bit here. Give it some columns. No, maybe do 2 rows there. That'd be good. And then we'll bring this up. Bring this in over here. Might have to maybe insert. Oh, messed that up there. I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll put it. Well, you know what? Actually, I'll tell you what. We could actually make it just 1 row. I think most people that would be familiar with the data could read that. So we'll just do it like that. That makes it easier. All right. So something like that. Now, what I can do there, I can say, okay, I want to do the beverage. All right. Click onto that, and then I can say also dairy and also seafood. Right. Let go. I did that with the control key. So I click that, control key, and I click that, let go of the control key, and I do that. So now when somebody's looking at this data, they're going to know that this is for the year 2022, first quarter, and these 3 different categories. And that's what they're looking at there of product. You can also take that filter off for the years. Or actually, I'm not the years. Let's do the quarters. So the quarters, take off that filter. There we go. So now we've got the numbers for the year 2022 for those 3 areas. And if you want to then clear the filter, you can always go ahead and click onto the clear button there, and that brings back everything. Okay, so hopefully this comes in handy for maybe what type of work you're going to be doing at on your data. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.